If you've been scrolling through endless specs sheets, watching frame rate benchmarks, and still feel stuck wondering whether a high-end gaming laptop really justifies its price tag, you're not alone. I've been there, sitting at my desk with 3 different models open side by side, trying to picture which one would actually survive a night of just one more level without blowing a fuse or draining the battery before the coffee even cools. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review I'm going to walk through the real-world experience of the ASUS ROG Strix G16 2024, so you can decide if the hype matches the day-to-day. First off, the G16 isn't just a bigger screen laptop. The 16-inch QHD panel runs at 240 Hz, which means that in fast shooters like Valorant or Apex Legends you actually see each mouse click translate into a smoother visual response. In my own setup, I paired a 144 Hz external monitor for work, but when I switched to the built-in display for a late-night raid, the difference was noticeable. Enemies didn't blur as much, and tracking felt more precise. That matters if you're the type who can't tolerate input lag, but it also eats a chunk of your battery, so it's a trade-off you have to accept. The heart of this machine is the Int Eli 914900HX. On paper it sounds like a desktop-class CPU, and in practice it behaves that way when you push it with demanding titles or simultaneous streaming. I ran Cyberpunk 2077 on ultra settings while recording a 1080p YouTube capture, and the frame rate hovered in the low 80s without any noticeable stutter. The extra cores also make a difference for non-gaming tasks. I opened Photoshop, compiled a 4K video render, and compiled a large spreadsheet all at the same time, and the laptop didn't dip into a thermal throttling state until the fan spun up to a noticeable hum. If you're a content creator who wants to edit footage on the go, that extra CPU headroom is a genuine advantage. Graphics are handled by the RTX 4060, which sits a step below the RTX 4070-based competitors in the same price range. For most modern titles at 1440p, the 4060 still delivers solid performance. Think 7080 frames per second in Elden Ring Hogwarts Legacy when you dial graphics down just a notch. However, if you plan to push 4K gaming at max settings, you'll start seeing the frame rate dip into the 4050 frames per second range, and you'll be reaching for the DLSS toggle more often than you might like. So the G16 is a sweet spot for 1440p gaming, not a future-proof 4K powerhouse. Memory and storage are where the G16 really shines. With 64 GB of DDR5 RAM you can keep dozens of applications open without a hitch. I had Discord, Chrome with 20 tabs, Photoshop, and the game client all running simultaneously, and there was never a slowdown. The 4TB SSD split across 2 NVMe modules means you can install several large games, store raw video footage, and still have room for a sizable media library. In practical terms, that translates to seconds instead of minutes when loading a new level or opening a 20 GB video project. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs that don't get shouted in marketing. The first is weight. At just under 6 pounds, the G16 is portable enough to carry to a coffee shop, but you'll definitely feel it if you try to hold it for more than an hour. The chassis is made of aluminum and reinforced plastic, which keeps it sturdy, but the extra cooling hardware, 4 heat pipes and a dual fan setup adds bulk. The fans are efficient, they keep temperatures under 85°C under load, but they can get noisy during long gaming sessions. In a quiet apartment, the fan whine is audible enough that you might want to wear headphones even when you're not playing. Battery life is another reality check. With the 96Wh cell, you get roughly 45 hours of mixed-use, some web browsing, a bit of video playback, and occasional gaming at low settings. Turn the display up to 240 Hz and crank the graphics, and you're looking at under 2 hours. If you need all-day unplugged performance, you'll have to carry the charger everywhere, which defeats some of the portable gaming allure. Who should buy this laptop? If you're a serious gamer who values high refresh rate 1440p play, does a bit of streaming, or you're a creator who needs a machine that can handle both intensive rendering and gaming without swapping rigs, the G16 offers a balanced package. The massive RAM and SSD capacity mean you won't be forced to externalize storage soon, and the i9 processor gives you future-proof CPU performance for at least the next few years. Who should skip it? If you're looking for a fine and light ultrabook for occasional indie games, the bulk and fan noise may feel overkill. Likewise, if 4K ultra-high settings are non-negotiable, you'll find the RTX 4060 a limiting factor and might be better off with a laptop that houses a higher-tier GPU, even if that means spending a bit more. Finally, budget-conscious buyers should note that the price point sits in the high-end bracket. There are cheaper alternatives that can run most games at 1080p without the premium. Practical strengths of the G16 Boil.